I'm Elvis Presley. This is the Sullivan Project Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Born to sin with a face pitching, bottle of gin in possession. Takes a licking, keeps on ticking. He is a man on a mission.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Sullivan Project Podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. We got some new intros here and stuff. Still getting used to. I had another recorder here, but of course the battery went dead, so I'm using the other one. This one plays right after the other. The other one I can stop. And being blind, if y'all haven't tuned in, I lost my sight 4 years ago, a little more than 4 years ago. It's hard to use recorders and cameras and stuff if you can't see, and they don't make sounds, all of them. People don't think about these little things, you know what I mean? I got wood on my hands. I got to try to turn off the recorder because if you leave them on, the batteries run dead. The other one just takes regular batteries. It doesn't charge. See, it's better to have the USB ones. It also doesn't even have a thing to transfer, which is weird. On Amazon, it said it did though, but when you plug it in, it doesn't. It just just goes around and around. You can't even plug it in to charge it. Actually, I don't even think it has a USB plug on it. It's just for some reason a recorder. The memory's built in, but there's no way to transfer it over to the computer. I don't know. It works good though for like playing back stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, welcome to the show, and I appreciate y'all. We're actually coming up on almost 400 subscribers here. I had like 15 when I started the podcast. So this is season 4, I believe. And we're up in 200 and something. Getting close to 250 episodes. Not quite there yet. But I'm just trying, do what I can. And I was born with an autoimmune disease. And I'm 46 now. And everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. That's what this podcast is about. Feel and heal. That's one of my soloisms that I've written. Praise always. Gifts should be given. Everyone can't be fixed, but they can all be saved. I got all kinds of stuff. Check out Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube and TikTok, and then Harold Sullivan period 35 Facebook for more of the Sullivan Project podcast. There's also music and just all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to do stuff for everybody. This podcast is about everything for everyone. Tons of topics, no judgment. I'm trying to limit the language, so everybody can come on, and because we all have a right to create our own existence, on this planet, and you can't judge people and tell them what's right or wrong for them, or what's good or bad, because good or bad is a matter of opinion. Prove me right or wrong, I remain strong. That's another one of my soloisms, because it doesn't really matter. I'm on the side of truth, and I don't want to say right or wrong because there's no right or wrong. So I'm just on the side of truth. It doesn't matter if it benefits me or not. I don't really want or need anything. I mean, I can barely move my arms and legs as it is. I use a 17-inch fork to eat, like an antenna. So, but God, you know what? Oh man, I'm still here. God bless. We're going to talk about Smallville today. I'm still getting, Ozzy died recently as I recorded this. It's been a few months probably now, Ozzy Osbourne. But we got some stuff going on the podcast with some different music and Ozzy and everybody. I'm just trying to, bring another voice, a voice to the voiceless. We have a new slogan, the dead live on the Sullivan Project podcast. And we're all alive or dead. It depends on what way you look at it, what side you are, right? It's the same thing. It's a different dimension. That's it. Energy is not created or destroyed. It can just change form. So, but last episode I talked about the Marvels a little bit by accident because I'd already done that, but I took the wrong note. It was supposed to be Mighty Ducks. So we're going to do the Mighty Ducks review here of the trilogy. And then because I talked about it. I was like, man, this sounds familiar. I'm like thinking in my head, I already said this stuff. But I got a lot of stuff. I mean, I record episodes ahead of time because if I'm sick or not feeling good, I have trouble going to the bathroom. I have trouble eating. I have trouble I don't really sleep. I've slept like an hour a night each night, last 3 or 4. I just don't sleep. My brain doesn't shut off, but my body can't really do anything. So it's crazy. I'm like trapped. I thought I was already trapped and caged, but at least I could. Yeah, I had a power wheelchair. I could drive around and go out and catch buses and stuff. And the last 4 years or more, I haven't been able to do nothing but pretty much sit. But I started a podcast and I'm reaching out to y'all and I want to help people with what I've been through and what y'all been through. Call the show and leave a message if you want, or be on the show, audio or video. 724-513-1472. We appreciate it. Uh, your pain is your strength, not your weakness. So if you want to get something out, or you want me to get it out for you, or if you want to get a message out, find that person that you lost contact with, that you had a good time, or you had a friend, and for some reason you just find them again. Even if you had a fallout, apologize. If it was good, why not have it in your life again? If it was bad, make your amends one way or the other, so you don't have to carry that, and then you can live the rest of your life. At least you tried. But you can always try. You know what I mean? You can always. One man is every man, and you can make a difference. And you can do it from now. If you know better now, this second forward. You can't fix. You can't go back. Even though you can really. If you heal yourself now, the past will heal. But I'm going to use it literally. You can't go back. If you didn't know any better, then you can't change what you didn't know. But now you know better. Find that person if you hurt or if they hurt you. Find them and say, hey, I forgive you. You know what I mean? Do it now. I'm serious. Uh, Help yourself. Save yourself. So your soul's the most important thing. And that's all you really have. And that's what you are as a soul. Lonnie Anderson died recently. Uh, the actress, most notable for WKRP Cincinnati. She was married to she's married to Burt Reynolds for a while. She was on Three's Company, Fantasy Island, I believe, all kinds of shows back in the day, 70s, 80s, maybe 90s. And boy, these celebrities are gone here. Also, we have an email, HS1978 2015. Wait, yeah, HS19782015. That's 2015 at Outlook.com. Yeah, I've had that email for 10 years. Good Lord. I had emails a long time in the past of Yahoos and stuff for 5 to 10 years each. So this is probably the longest I've had one. Uh, and then, yeah, contact us. Any share, like, comment, whatever. We actually have celebrities. And I've been to conventions and I've got some interviews and check out the show. I've written hundreds of songs since I lost my sight, and I got free music or lyrics, whatever anybody wants. Oh, essential oils I've been making. Just let me know. People can't say stuff ain't for free because I'm giving stuff away, and my love too, and that's free too. You should always love unconditionally, no matter what. You don't have to like it, but you're here to love. You're not here to hate. I mean, hating isn't even a real thing. I don't know how that became, but it's not our natural thing. So, so we got Smallville season 2. Let's do that first. I reviewed season 1 recently, and I gave it probably like an 8, I think, something like that. I'm going to get a season 2, probably about the same thing. It's actually pretty good. It might be better than season 1. They're getting into more stuff, not really into the superhero stuff, but kind of more into than the first season. The first season was more like monsters of the week, like supernatural started off. Uh, like, but this season they brought all kinds of stuff in there. Lex gets married. He gets crashed on an island. His dad turns blind. Spoilers. Martha Kent actually gets pregnant, but then loses the baby. And then they find these cave drawings in Smallville that have a Kryptonian symbols. Christopher Reeve, I was crying, tearing up, getting sentimental. He shows up in his wheelchair and everything. He played Superman in the original 4 movies, in case y'all don't know, from 78 on through the 80s. Ended up in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the neck down because the horse he was riding stopped before the jump, and he was in the competition. He was a jumper, and it stopped, and he broke his neck. But people were walking and alive today because of him, because he started a foundation and his wife started a foundation, After that, I think they changed it to her name. She got cancer and ended up dying. Oh my God. But anyway, uh, yeah, he's there and he's a doctor. Christopher Reeve, he's a scientist, and he gets a hold of, he finds Clark, and then he tells him that he intercepted this signal. He's been searching through space for years, and this is what it means. He thinks a message from it. And then Jor-El talks to him and then the ship is involved more, but it's not Jor-El. Marlon Brando has passed away. God bless him. He died a long time ago. As far as this dimension, I think maybe in the '90s, early 2000s, he died. But the guy who played the original Zod in Superman 1 and 2, Terrence Stamp, I think is his name. Terrence Stamp. I believe that's his name. But he plays the voice of Jor-El, so it's like familiar. And I remember back when I first viewed these, I'm blind now, re-going over them, but originally it was so cool to hear him again. It was so familiar. But this Jor-El is a little corrupt. He's a little darker. He's not so nice. In this version of Superboy, Superman, whatever, Smallville, Jor-El, it seems like he sent Clark there to Earth, sent him here to take over and not just to, keep him safe from the destruction of the planet. So we really don't know yet. But that's season two. A lot of spoilers there. But he's yeah, kind of. And then of course the love triangles with all the characters: Chloe, Pete, Clark, and Lana, of course. And then also we meet Perry White. There's another one, like Perry White, yeah, the editor of the Daily Planet. Lana's boyfriend Whitney had went off into the military, so we find out a little bit about him. In season one, he was supposed to join football. Something happened to a scholarship, I think, or something. I'm a little confused about that still. I think he lost his scholarship, but I don't know if it was drugs or because his dad was going through a tough time, and that's why. They didn't really say much. They said they found drugs on him though, but he said it was his dad's. So I'm thinking maybe it was something like that. I don't know. Uh, I might have missed something being blind on this time, but usually I get everything, even though I just hear it. But anyway, he joins the military instead, so he's not really in it much. I'm gonna say that. But I'll give it an 8 as well. Season two, Smallville. Check it out. They're all, I think, all seasons, all 10 of them there was. Uh, and I was a fan all the way through there too. Originally, I stopped maybe after 5 or 6, and then picked back up again a couple years later and checked out the rest. So there might be a couple seasons in there that I missed that I'll maybe get to, you know, listen to here again this time around since I didn't see them the first time. But I know season 10 is and last couple of seasons are way different, almost a whole totally different shows than the first couple seasons. So that's one thing that's bad about a lot of shows. Supernatural turned out that way too, but not as bad. They still kind of kept most of the stuff. Also, the Mighty Ducks. Let's do that. The trilogy number, or yeah, there's 3 of them in the trilogy. And say 7, I'd probably give it for the trilogy. Uh, the boys, there's boys in the first one. Basically, Emilio Estevez gets sentenced to do community service, and he has to teach kids how to play hockey, and they're from like the poorer area. So, and but it's cool, and he's like a hockey player in the movie, and he teaches them, and then they end up winning. And then the second one, uh, he actually goes back and plays hockey. I think he gets hurt or something, and ends up coming to coach them again. They kind of redo it again. The mom's not even in the second one though. Charlie's mom. Charlie is played by the kid from Dawson's Creek, Joshua Jackson, when he's really young. And then Keenan from Keenan and Kel shows up in there. And there's 2 boys called the Bash Brothers. They're really tall, like way older, looking for their age. And then the third one is kind of like the same deal. Amelia's not in it as much. They got a new coach, and they're like this other pristine, preppy pre-college thing because they make it. But they actually go. I think the second one is when they play in the Olympics. Team USA is, and then the Mighty Ducks actually got a team in the NHL after that. So it's neat, and the story it's watered down to the third one, but it's still good. You hear that music, and they got the flying V. It's like a formation that they do uh, when they play hockey, and they're all in the shape of a V, and they drop the puck back. And then there's a knuckle puck, which Keenan's character does. They call it, where people started using it in hockey after that. You flip the puck up on the side on your blade, and you just shoot it that way. And you could get a little bit of accuracy on it, but it's hard to control. Because I used to play street hockey in the wheelchair, yes, with one leg on the bottom of the stick and one on the top, my hand on the top, and I played goalie. I even went to a tournament in Minnesota. I played wheelchair hockey. It's called the United States Electric Wheelchair Hockey Association in 2001. But I don't think I know if they're even around anymore. They had a website. But I went there and played, scored a game-winning goal in the shootout. So that was cool. Uh, and people here, when I used to play hockey, could run around. They were able-bodied, quote unquote. There, people were in wheelchairs, but I could hold my own. I played goalie here mostly with all the pads on and everything. As little as I am, I had 24-inch leg pads, a little blocker, and a little helmet on, like Dominic Hasek out there. Still got a cold a little bit. I've had it for a week or so. I usually don't get sick, even though I got autoimmune disease. But everybody in my house got it. And then I went out. Only one time I've been out in a month out of the house, and I got that might have contributed. I got sick. It's terrible what's going on out there, what's going around, you know. So the Mighty Ducks, yeah, I give that. And the Smallville computer. What are my stickies? This is how I take notes now. Computer, what are my stickies?
I found 49
And half the time the
notes.
technology don't listen.
Chuck Fast and Furious, Lonnie Anderson, Smallville Season 2 Star Wars Trilogy.
Computer, stop. Okay, Fast and Furious. Let me give you a quick review. I just got done listening to that. First time since I've been blind. Number one, Fast and Furious with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. I'd give that movie a 7.5. You know what I mean? I mean, for what it was, very good. Good writing, great acting as far as Paul Walker and whatnot. Uh, and you know, the stunts and all that. Obviously, the visuals were good. But check out Fast and Furious, the very first one. You know, the music good too. Good soundtrack. I believe Ludacris was in there. Also, Chuck, who played on Supernatural, I was just talking about. I've been checking out the Osbournes, which the episodes are free. The old Osbournes episodes, a reality show. Ozzy was like the first, reality dad, one of them anyway. Uh, I knew the voice. I'm like, I hear this voice, and they're calling this dude Robert. And I think it was somebody that Kelly dated, and here it's Rob Benedict, who ended up playing. And I haven't checked this for facts, but I know the voice. And y'all let me know, you know what I mean, comment or whatever. Rob Benedict, who played him, who played Chuck, and ended up playing God in Supernatural. I believe was on the episode, at least one or two of the Osbournes, and Kelly was like interested in him, and he was a band member and I know he plays music and stuff. He mentions it on their podcast, Supernatural Then and Now, hosted by uh, Rob Benedict and Richard Spate Jr. And I've had Richard Spate on the podcast recently, so check out their podcast and our old stuff, our old episodes. But yeah, he was on there. Interesting. And you know that voice. He just has like a kind of a higher pitched, voice, and it sounds pretty much the same. And that was almost like 30 years ago. So check that out. Let's see here. We got a couple more. Rogue One, the movie, and Solo. Okay, those are the two Star Wars because I went back and did all 11 movies recently. Listened to them all since I lost my sight. And Rogue One, I don't really see the point of it. It's just somebody steals something and they get rid of it, and then the bad guys are going after it. It's the same thing over and over, really. Uh, I don't know, 6.5 to 7. I don't want to give it nothing something bad, but it's really not much of a Star Wars movie. Same with Han Solo, or the one called Solo, which is a prequel about the young Han Solo. We don't really need that. We don't need to know how he met Chewie. We don't need it. There's even he even says I gotta call you something different because that's too long, Chewbacca. So he's explaining why he comes up with Chewie. We don't need that. Obviously, you know, it's just the guy is kind of okay as a young Harrison Ford, playing him, but only certain moments when he changes his voice is different because his voice he's not mature enough. Like Harrison Ford was very mature and probably older, but he's okay. But the guy who played Billy Dean Williams' character, or Billy Dean Williams' character, who played Lando Calrissian, was pretty decent. I like that part. And I don't think they even played the Star Wars music or have them credit scroll things at the beginning of either one of them. I'm not sure, which they have in all the other ones. Maybe they're only doing that in the Skywalker ones. And then there's another part that's stupid in the movie. Uh, Solo, I'm talking about. There's actually a bull, like a freaking advertisement and music thing recruiting people for the what are they called, the Empire, uh, and it's playing the Empire's music. Like that is so takes you out of the fourth wall, whatever you want to call it. I got pain today, leg pain. I didn't eat an edible because I'm trying not to do that all the time, and the sugar's not good, and I get kidney stones. But I don't want to just sit there and be stuck on meds because you want to live. Part of life is pain, but I want to be comfortable. But I'm always in pain constantly, one pain or another. The nerve pain kind of is always there from my autoimmune disease, I guess. I'm just so sensitive to everything. But yeah, so either one of them, 6.5 to 7, I still give them a high kind of rating, but they're not really that good. And then I'm going to do the Star Wars, the third trilogy too. And this, I'm talking about the newest one. I already reviewed the other two. And this one I'd probably give, I don't remember, I gave the other two maybe, I gave the first one an 8. I think the second maybe 7.5 or 8. I don't know. But I'm going to give the new one 7.5. I can't really go down to 7 with Star Wars. But I think it was better than the trilogy with the Phantom Menace and all that, but not as good as the original trilogy, which was 4, 5, and 6. And of course, we're talking about 7, 8, and 9 right now. It was cool to see, or it was, well, I did get to see one of them, I believe, or my site, maybe two of them. But it was cool that they brought the original cast back a lot. I never really liked the story though; it's just rehashed again. And after all this time, Luke just gave up because one of his kids went bad. That they're confused about who Ray is she is she related? I mean, they don't really say who she is. Then they kind of say she's a Skywalker. I mean, it's kind of it's a little bit yeah. So the first one was kind of cool though when it came out. Force Awakens, The Force Awakens. After that, then they're just bringing back all the characters as ghosts. I think there's even Yoda's back, and it's just the same old stuff again. So I can understand, they're pretty much done. The next thing they're going to do is remake all that with those characters again because those characters and the original characters that's all people was caring about in that movies. Vader, Luke, Yoda, old Ben Kenobi, R2. The droids are cool no matter what, though, and all of them. I think they even eventually though kicked the guy who played C3PO out and started using somebody else. Just used him for the voice and not in the body. But if they kept him for the voice, that's good at least. But the original Darth Vader was never the original Darth Vader after that. And then they didn't even use his voice. They redubbed it with James Earl Jones. And then he became famous for being Darth Vader, even though he wasn't the guy in the suit. He was just a voice. So there's some fun facts in my reviews of that. And let me make sure I don't forget anything. Computer, what are my stickies? Computer, what are my stickies?
I found 49 notes.
Did you? Computer, what are my stickies?
I found 49 notes.
Computer, what are my stickies? Wow, it doesn't usually do this.
I found 49 notes.
Okay, talk.
Chuck Fast and Furious, Lonnie Anderson, Smallville Season 2 Star Wars Trilogy, 3 Rogue, 1 Solo.
Computer, stop. Okay. Yeah, I've been feeling a lot of spirit energy, a lot of whatever you want to call it, activity in that. But when I pull out the meters or the recorder, you guys, I've been putting evidence up. Yeah, I'm not getting much. But I think they also do know, when there's things being recorded somehow, so they don't. They do it when you aren't recorded. But I try to say, hey, if you want someone to hear you again or see you again, show up when I got it on the recorder. But we'll be back soon. I love y'all. Remember that, and please keep me in good energy. Keep the world in good energy. Just if you think positively, the world will pick that up, and it all works like an internet signal. I mean, just you can't see the internet, right? Doesn't mean it ain't real. We all have a connection. All the animals, the plants, the planet, the people on it. Okay? Once you're in this zone, ozone, whatever, on this planet, you're connected. I believe we're probably connected after that too, on a different level. But as far as on this level, we're connected energy-wise and all this, and we all affect each other. So I love y'all. Like I said, love's a choice. So is to hate and be the light.